Okay, so our sample's now spun down, so we're just going to take it out of the centrifuge. And what this is now going to allow us to do is to see what was contained in our samples. So similar to our PCV, our centrifuge is now spun the separate solid from the fluid. So I don't know if you can see at the bottom, we've now got a little plug at the bottom, and that's what we're going to use. So the first thing you want to do is to take off that fluid. So you make yourself a little pile of tissue or paper towel, and using our pipettes, we're just going to drag off, take your time on this, but we're going to drag off our fluid and pop it onto our tissue. And the reason why we're putting our urine on our tissue and not down the sink is it allows us to dispose of that appropriately into our clinical waste. So I'm just going to pop that to one side, but that will go into our bio bag. And now you should have the sample. We've got the plug at the bottom with just a little bit of fluid sat on the top of it. So what we're now going to do is add some stain to this. Now this is called steady stain. In terms of the expectation, it's entirely up to you whether or not you stain your sample. Certainly for bacteria it helps, but with crystals, which is what we're looking for, it can just help to highlight them. But equally, if you prefer not to use stain in the exam, it is entirely up to you. So just unscrew your bottle. This is incredibly staining, so just be careful because we're aiming for literally a drop. Pop the lid back on and close the lid of your tube. And now what you're going to do is resuspend this. So you could either gently invert it or do one flick. We don't want lots and lots of flicks because it will break up the structure of our sample. But what that should allow for is now you've mixed your sample, and as you can see, we've now got a solid material that we can use.